Hello everybody, so Trainable just got a very interesting upgrade. The first interesting thing to show you guys is pip install Trainable AI. You just run it and then you configure Trainable in it. And with that, you just paste your secrets and your credentials in general. You can either consume off your cloud subscription if you want to, if you don't want to spend like a lot of tokens and you already have the subscription, or you can play with Anthropic API keys if you're deploying this in production, right? So let's go to if you want to set up your Claude API key from your subscription, you just go Claude setup token and everything is handled. You get your token and then you paste it in here. That model is where we run our scripts, so you have to also configure this. Model offers a pretty generous free tier, so you can get I think like $30 of worth of tokens or let's say compute from model, so you can pretty much run a lot with this. Then you set this up, everything's done. I'm just gonna say no here for the start Trainable now, just to show how to actually spin up everything. Let's clear the terminal and then we go Trainable up. Then everything is gonna be pulled from an image for both the APIs that we need and the databases, both Postgres and MiniIO for object storage, but also the front end and back end, everything set up right away for you. So let's take a quick peek on what are the new features. So now let's check out a little bit the new platform, how it's looking different than it was before. So here, the first thing that I wanted to show is that now we can organize our projects in project buckets. So I can just create a new project here, name it. Not gonna name it right now. Let's explore a little bit the data. I can upload a folder or any other data I want. Let's get this example of telco churn. It has already like a context MD with some context. I can write and type this as prompt as well if I want to. But here, let's just say do EDA, feature engineering, and data prep. So if I ask for it, it's going to spin up some agents. So now the platform is not like super relying on workflows and things like that. It is just relying on agents and some chat agent that orchestrates other agents and orchestrator agent as well that can do this in a more specialized way. And as you can see here, we have the chat agent working on, and it might delegate to some other agents that we can configure in here. So we have data prep agent, EDA, feature engineering, training, review, orchestrator that is kind of like delegating across specialists with a little bit more decency, I'll say. You can choose the model that you want to use. Right now we only support Anthropic. And you can see the data that was uploaded for this specific project. So what is nice about it is that usually, so now it's working on it. As you can see, it already has like some notebooks and some scripts. What is nice about this is that like, let's take this other demo here. This one, let's name this telco churn. And here I'm gonna say end to end X training. So it didn't train anything, so it does everything but training. But here, let's show another EDA from another project. So here was another data set. I think it's the California housing data set. I just go here and I can see the EDA. I only asked it for the EDA. It failed at some point. You had like some errors, but it regenerated and continued working. As you can see, it created all sort of notebooks here. And I can just go and create a new chat. And this new chat, I can say, can you train it? And then let's rename this to training. And once I do this, what is amazing is that not only this session has the context of the data for this project, but also it can reach out for the EDA, understand a little bit more about the data if it wants, and what were the findings, and continue from there. So here it didn't do that, but I can just like stop here and say, can you check out the other session and get the EDA from there? And then it should work. So let's take a look. Let's see what it does, if it works in practice. In the meantime, the telco churn agent is working hard over there to get the results for us. Yeah, so it did. There's a sibling chat called EDA in this project, and it's doing this. It got the report MD from the EDA, understood it. Should I kick off? Yes. Go right away for training. Awesome. So let's take a look at the EDA in the meantime so we can evaluate a little bit the quality. So here you have like all the images that were generated. It saves in figures, but you also have like all sort of different notebooks that is just being generated by the agent here. Not sure if the images are going to reload quickly. Let's see. But yeah, so EDA is over here. Yeah, the images are here. It just runs and generates everything that you need. Here is more like inclined towards saving it, but it can also show in the notebook if you ask for it. Yeah. It went for feature distributions, outliers, understanding geography, understanding correlations, very complete work here, even target distribution. So yeah, let's go back to training here. So it started the training agent here, is running a few steps. I'm not sure if it's going to use a notebook for it or if it is going to use something else. The thing here is that the agent decides, so you can either use a script like this, or even like use directly a notebook and train in the notebook, and then it's going to spin up the GPUs and everything using that notebook. Speaking of GPUs, one interesting thing here is that you can actually configure the GPUs for your default code execution. You can add a timeout here, and for your training GPUs, when you're doing heavy loading, you can actually select here what you want, and this is going to spin up automatically in Modal when it's doing the heavy loading. Here, of course, the timeout is not like adequate maybe, but you can pretty much configure this the way that you want. So here started the training. So the metrics tab is already open, and you can see like the first iteration here. Probably this is not going to be deep learning, so this is going to be simpler. So maybe the graphs here are not going to be super pretty. Let's see if I can find here another training. So here's like one example of it working for CNNs with deep learning, and you can see this updating in real time, which is pretty nice. Let's go back. Oh, here we already have like some iterations. So it's using XGBs, doing Optuna here as well. Here you can have the validation performance. Yeah, and you can pretty much ask for any metric that you want if you want to be explicit as well. So otherwise it will assume some of this stuff. But yeah, pretty interesting. So let's see how this one is doing here. Started, it has an EDA notebook, a bunch of stuff in here already, some errors, some graphs. Yeah, pretty nice. Let's see about the training here. Well, working pretty well. I think that's it, and really glad that this project is taking this form and things are starting to work pretty well. I hope this can be useful for you all, and please let me know if you guys have any feature requests that I can help.